Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I know it's been a while since I've talked to you guys, but a lot of things has been going on, and I actually just want to go ahead and do a really big update because there's a lot of changes that's going to be happening on this overall aquascape of the whole system here. So let me take a step back here, give you guys a nice little shot of everything. So first of all, let me start from the top here. The Radions, last I talked to you guys, I had some issues with the G5, G6 blues and everything. That's been resolved, and right now what you guys are looking at are G6 blue, G5, another G6, and another G5, all different variations. The plan is still at some point to go ahead and now swap out the other two G5s for the G6 blues and get that squared away. But for right now, it is what it is, and everything looks to be pretty great. As far as what I got going on with the tank, I got other plans with the lights, so that's the reason I'm planning to just go ahead and make all of this the G6 blue. I did go ahead and print out some shades here because it is in my work area, so I needed to cut down on a glare that was happening, and that was actually pretty much a good addition. It keeps that wonderful widespread from being extremely widespread and blasting everything around the place. So that's that for lighting. As far as the tank here goes, let's see, got some new corals. I've moved things around. Things are missing recently. My giant clam that was here in the middle, that went bye-bye, it checked out. Not exactly certain what happened there, but it's been with me for quite a while. I still have this other clam at the top here. It's still young enough to where it has its foot, so it's been slowly rotating and repositioning itself due to all the growth going on around it. Hopefully I'll get you guys a top-down shot of everything here at the end of this video, but for right now, let me go ahead and continue on here. Like I said, a few things are going to be changing. I do now have what would be called a shadow caster. This guy is massive for this tank here. It's about maybe an inch or so from the glass. At this point, that is going to be coming out. A couple of other pieces are going to be coming out of the system, but for right now, this is what we got going on. Just a lot of growth. It's the good bad problem that happens in this hobby, and it tends to happen with the sticks. A lot of, I don't know if you guys can see in the middle here, a lot of warfare that happens. But all in all, let's go ahead and zoom over here. We have nice piles of detritus going on, but that's okay. Just vacuum it up and good to go. What else is going on? I got the acans. Everything's been coming back slowly. I'm just trying to figure out what will work with the tank. This Ghani just doesn't like where it's at. I don't know what's been going on. I've moved these two, swap places. This one did a little bit better than it was before. I think I'm going to probably put this one back over, see if maybe a little less light would help. Well, it's just a matter of me finding the right placement for it here and getting it situated. With that being said on this, as far as the shadow caster, I will tell you that the par is non-existent in this whole area. This is part of the main reason for me to get rid of. I think I measured the par, it's about maybe at max 30 or less. It's way less than that. So there's literally no light that makes it down to that little spot there. So that's really it for this side. I got a few things I'm going to move around. The huge piece here, I'm just going to step back so you guys can see how massive this whole chunk is. This dome is finally, it's going to have a new home. So that piece will be gone. So you guys soak it up. As you can see on the right, my little shadow cast, so you can see how close it is to the glass right there. So yeah, it's gotten big. I have some frags available for it. And I get a little mini colony, so I'm not losing out on the whole thing. It's a nice piece. It just grows pretty well. I think that was the TGC Starfire or something like that. But this one is also, as you can tell, casting a bit of a shadow. But I'll see what happens once I get this pulled out, how much light I'm going to have in this area. I got some more sticks that's going to go in here. So at the end of the day, this tank is going to pretty much be SPS dominated. Let's take a peek at a few things here. It's my nice branches of fascia. Doesn't get too much love. The colors are great on it when the blues hit it. Let's see what else. We got a couple of new things happening here. This is a nice rainbow alveopora once the gem decides to move the hell out of the way. All right, there we go. So that is nice little rainbow alveopora. I believe that's what it's going to be. So I'll keep an eye on it. A couple other pieces here are doing pretty well. Like I said, move some things around. This guy's nice and fluffy still. What else is going on? This strawberry, I think it's a strawberry shortcake or raspberry shortcake, whatever. I have to jog my memory again as to which one this was. But this piece, it does need to get moved. It is being shaded out. So all, I don't know if you guys can see all that shaded area, that was growth. The corals above it have shaded it out. This is like just one massive war zone of corals that's going on. We got one on top of another and on top of another, and they are all fighting for space. So I got to do some pruning probably once I start moving things around. But I know once I start doing that, the problem I'm going to end up having is with just my levels in the tank as far as alkalinity and things like that. So I just got to be mindful of what I'm doing when I start moving things out and see what's going to hold on pretty well and what's going to give me an issue. So hopefully, it's like an old lady's hat with a coat. Yeah, I don't know. So this is what's going on with the system. It just got a lot of new growth going on, and just time to start doing some pruning. The tank's been doing great. A couple of these pieces here have some weird splicing going on to it here. I don't know if you guys can tell there. This is a wild piece that I got some time ago. And let's see, a couple of other sticks are doing well. That. But let's see. So that's it for the tank. Let me skip along here, show you what's going on. Got some new gear on this system. The flow, I went and took off. Yes, that was the thing I did here. Sorry. So prior I had the Nero 7. The flow pattern was massive to the point where this middle section here was getting really indented because of how wide the flow was. But it was a really strong flow. It's just, it was not for where this is at right now. So I'll switch back over to a gyro. This is going to be the XF 350, I think it was, on this tank. I got some settings for it right now. We're just random, trying it out here. Just got it about a month ago, so we're gonna give it a try, play around with everything. But the sticks are loving it. Flow's doing great, and that is pretty much it here. I'm gonna go ahead and step down to the sump, and let's see. Let's fix the lighting here. All right. So let's see if we can get this a little bit here. So as far as gear in the system, I now have a Trident. Good friend of mine had a couple of them at the shop here. And, I told him I've never had a Trident before. He said, look, here, give this one a try. And also decided, let me go ahead and 3D print it because I needed for it to sit in the stand somewhere. And this is what we got going on. I like it. The numbers look pretty stable coming out of the system here. So we're going with that. And let's see what else. We got a new doser on the system. I had a different one. I think it was a J-Ball one on the system here. and this one is now the Reef Dose 4 channel. Currently running aminos and some nitrates added back into the system here. I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this before, but you've already seen that before. That is my CO2 scrubber for the whole system here to go and bump the pH up. I find that it does help with everything, so that's nice. And let's see what else we got going on here. I don't know if I talked to you guys about the filter roller. It's working out pretty well, so happy there. Everything looks good. And that's pretty much it as far as the gear on the system, man. Now I did have to go and rewire everything for the Apex. That way I can run this Trident. So I think on the other system, which I'm going to get to here in a moment, that did have the EV8. This one now has the EV8, so that way I can run the Neptune Trident here. But you know, we'll see how it goes. Like what's happening with the system here, everything pretty much looks really stable, and this is what it looks with the majority of the filter gone. It is still on a day schedule, but let's see. Show you guys what's going on. This. But yeah, I'm gonna jump over to the other tank. But like I said, I'll do a little top down of this system so you guys can see what's going on with the sticks. Let me hop over to the other tank, show you what's happening there. It's not fun, but it is what's going on. All right, so here it is. Here is the 65 gallon as it is right now. Not too thrilled with this tank. It's still going through some bit of issues here with algae. I've had to add more sand to the system here to kind of try to buffer some things going on with the nutrient levels and things like that. So I'm just trying to get more bacteria in the sand so that way that can fight the algae that's been pretty much growing almost everywhere. It's been on the rocks, it's been on the walls, it's been all over the sand to the point where it has just been a complete nuisance. I'm probably going to have the water tested for copper, because another thing I'm noticing, I don't know if you guys can see here in the middle, some of my beneficial snails have been just passing away from the tank here. Now they do reproduce pretty quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and run probably a good test on here to see what I can figure out, see if there's any trace of anything. I'm thinking this rock here that I got from the guy who had the tank before probably ran some chemicals in here that's probably in the rock, and it's just slowly leaching out. It's not to the point where everything is dying, but it is a bit of a nuisance here. I've had to take some of the snails out because a few of them got real sluggish, and that unfortunately I didn't want any dead snails in the system here to add more nutrients to the tank. So this tank has been just holding on pretty well for its own. Majority of it is going to be just the torches once I get everything really stable and rocking and rolling here. Probably going to add a few more torches in here. I can tell that the torches are having some issues, so like this one here should have more or less polyp extension like these other two here, but majority of these, their polyps are really stubby. This guy in the back, some days it looks great, other days not too well. So I know there's something going on. A lot of these are all bleached out, so it's just time. And that's what I'm needing with this tank here. That, and pretty much just running a big test on it to see if I can figure out what could be causing the issue. But right now I'm probably going to bump up the water changes and carbon on this for right now. See if I can pull out some of this algae manually. I have been doing a couple water changes, but I don't want to pull out all the nutrients out of the system. But I do need to try to battle some of this back. But other than that, man, this tank's doing pretty well. This one does not have any light underneath, so let's see if I can get a flashlight here. All right, so here goes the sump. We got some lighting on here. Show you guys what's been going on down here. Excuse all the wires. It's not really much management under here. This sump is a pretty decent size. Wish it was a little bit larger, mainly because you do have to have like a really small skimmer. I don't know if I told you guys, this skimmer is the BoomX 4.5. Doing pretty well. Just cleaned it out 2 days ago here, so pulling some gunk out. Got the one side has a filter sock, and then I printed out a media chamber for, I have ChemiPure Elite running in here for right now. Like I said, I've been running carbon and such, so I'm trying to battle algae, but also keep everything in line. Dosing, as far as what's been going on, is I have some Alpha Reef that's going on. This is just a backup bottle. I do have like a 1 gallon jug that's over here that's full of Alpha Reef that I manually mixed up. Next on that, because this is just a 2-head doser on this, is also running the Reef Dose 2 channel on this one. Also dosing AB. Had pretty good results as far as this tank, because of just the lack of nutrients on everything and what's been going on. I'm pretty surprised that the corals are doing as well, and I think it's mainly because I've been adding some aminos to the mix here, along with feeding. But that's really it that's going on with this sump. I couldn't even tell you guys how many gallons this sump is. It's probably not that much. I'm gonna say maybe a 65 gallon, so maybe 12 gallons or so of this is this, and this is maybe like a 40 or 50 gallon display at the end of the day. It's pretty good tank. I don't think I've really gone too in depth on the system, but all in all, let me go ahead and get the lighting fixed back over here to the tank. There we go. So all in all, I'm gonna close this door. That's pretty much what's going on. I did just recently get a bunch of little mushrooms here. I know the camera's not picking up their colors pretty well, but I've added a few more, just hoping that they'll do pretty well. The mushrooms seem to be doing well, so I've decided to add a couple more. There's the carpet in the back here, and just, you know, at some point this thing will get in balance. I'll figure out what's going on, and then I will have it looking awesome. The gold tip elegance is back there, nice and fluffy. Like I say, a lot of these corals wouldn't really make it in the levels that I have it here right now. I think there's probably 2.5 on the nitrates, barely phosphates at all. But what I will say is the dosing has kept it out pretty spot on here. So I'm trying to keep things level and maintained, and at some point this tank will kick off and be pretty awesome. But for right now, this is going to be a shot for it. Right now you can see the wonderful algae floating around at the top there. Yeah, we'll move along. I'm going to show you guys what's going on with the Frag tank, what's going on there. I got some changes that's happening there also too, so I want to do my last little update with that and show you guys what's going on in that system. So let's hop on over there. Here goes the Frag tank. Let's see, where do we start with this whole system? So with all of the tanks, I've been battling an issue that was my fault of my own, and that was due to water quality. My main system out front and the 65 were all being fed off of a separate RO system. However, what I neglected to add was a DI chamber to that whole system. So what I was doing was pumping it with just RO, and without any kind of monitoring, the numbers were off. and I'm gonna say right now, I think I was close to tap water was going in as top off. But that's been all fixed there. That's why I say with that 65, I think once everything, you know, kicks off pretty well with that, it should be spot on. But that was a few months ago, and it does take some time for things like that to work their way out of the system. Same thing was also happening to the Cade system, but that one was actually established for a long period of time. So I think the numbers weren't as bad as far as that top off water that was coming in that was causing that issue. What that brings me to is this Frag system. I also ended up doing the same thing. So my RO system is over here, and it feeds to the mixing station on the left. I was not hooked up properly with the system, let's put it that way. So instead of just feeding off of the RO, the reservoir container that I had for it, I was feeding off of the RO unit, just RO, no DI, nothing going on there. Same problem there. That was my own fault. I don't know what I was thinking, but I've since fixed the issue, and this tank is being fed from the vat above, and we're good there. What that ended up doing was starting to fix an algae issue that I had for a few years, not, you know, racking my head trying to figure out what was going on with it, where these racks were never really this white. Everything was practically covered in algae. The corals looked horrible. There was just a lot of different problems, and I was blaming it on everything from too much lights to no nutrients, because at one point there wasn't much nutrients in the system. That was because of the algae problem. But all in all, we've gotten that fixed, and we are rocking and rolling here. This is a Frag tank that I do have set up for the shows. So a lot of the pieces that are here they come and go. So for the most part, that's what's happening here. This tank is the tank that is going to have some changes to it. This nice spiraling piece, I don't know if you guys may remember from a few years back, has grown into this nice spiraling chunk of Monty. Same thing here. This was I forgot what the name, but I think it was one of the named Monties. I had it over in the Cade system. Popped it in here, and has since been growing. Now I will say this is all being powered off of the AI blade, the 10-inch. These corals are getting in the middle around maybe 250 or so. It does taper off pretty heavily, so I'm probably gonna have to switch the lights out once I make some changes, but I won't know. Like I said, I'm gonna do some more measurements once I get these two pieces from out of here, clean some things up. The original plan was to have the NEMs in here. I did some cleaning up on the glass, and these two bases fell, so the NEMs are pretty much closed up right now. So for that happening here, I think what else is happening with this whole pack system? Like I said, this has things that are coming and going. Got the Nexus on the rock. I'm trying to grow these out. Let's see if I can get this a good shot. Try to grow them out to a big enough size. I've heard they get pretty big. Waiting to see that happen here, just taking a chance for it to be here, and it hasn't moved around. So yeah, that's that. What does happen is the fun that's happening in this jar. This actually split yesterday, and what happened here is I now have two separate pieces of the colors, but yay. We'll see what we're going to do with that. Now, the sump system. What has changed here? I just had to do some maintenance on the dosing pump, which is still a bit Camoral. The Camoral I'm using on the calcium reactor, trying to feed the system the calc, so that's pretty much the bulk of the work there. As far as dosing goes, it is being dosed off of this Jabo Wi-Fi system here. Probably gonna add one more thing to the dosing, but for right now, as far as what is happening here is I have Reef Plus for the aminos and everything else, and I also have a bottle of the Neo Nitro for nitrates. Very minimal, just trying to keep something in here because there's times where I forget to feed this whole tank and the nutrients have bottomed out before. So I now keep the Neo Nitrates on here so that we're going to get things situated here. So it is a sump frag system. A lot of the salties are down here. There's a couple of the stonies that can tolerate the really low light and low flow. So a couple of hammers. There is a ton of aptasia down here, but I need to grab some shrimps, and every time I put a shrimp in here, they make their way up and over. So we figured out something, but there's probably some changes that I'm going to do here. I've been mulling around just getting a whole nother tank to go ahead and separate everything out. But yeah, that's really what's happening here. A lot of mushrooms. You guys see that? And some of the nexus in this cup. Sometimes they walk out of the cup, walk back into the cup. Like these two here. Let's see. Yeah. Just walked over here. And I think the other one is also underneath the bottom. Sometimes they'll walk out and walk back in. They usually try to stay within the cup. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the frag tank. Like I said, a couple changes. Gonna probably get this going with the NEMs, maybe move the salties in here. Like I said, I'll figure out with the lighting and flow and everything after I move these two pieces out of the system. I finally got tangs in this tank. That was a problem I had for a while. So I got the black and white that was in the cade is in here, and I have a sail fin that's in here also. The sail fin is going to make its way over to the cade. It was really small, so I wanted to get him bulked up and a little bit bigger before he moved over to that system, and have to deal with the powder blue. So this is pretty much going to be the shot of this system here, and that's probably going to be the end of this video. I wanted to do an update on everything because, like I said, there's going to be a lot of changes, and I want to focus on getting those changes taken care of and not have to worry about missing anything for you guys here. One other thing that I do want to point out on this tank, I do have, I don't know if you can see that nice bright light, red one here. That is the KH Keeper Plus that's monitoring the alkalinity on this, because for a while I had no way to know other than doing a HANA checker test. And because it's a tank in the garage, I barely come here to check it, and there's been times where the alk has either bottomed or gone way too high, mainly because I do work in this tank and I do frag some corals. So yeah, I needed some way to monitor it, and I just needed to monitor alkalinity because there's no monitoring system on this. It is just me and whatever little gadgets. So real quick, let me go through them. I have an old, let's see, get some light on this. All right, so there we go. I had to go and fix the color for everything. Real quick, this is the Ice Cap Wave engine, or the old version of the Wave engine. This was their Wi-Fi controller. The return pump is a Jabo, and it is all, as far as temperature and everything, is being monitored by the Inkbird. It monitors both the heating and cooling. I think right now it's set for heating because it's pretty cool in here. And as far as the cooling, how I'm operating that, there is no chiller on this. What I got going on is a fan to do the evaporative cooling. So once the temps get to a certain point, it kicks off the fan, kicks on the fan, and then that starts to cool. So like I said before, there's not really much monitoring on the system. Alkalinity is done by this, and everything else is pretty much this. This is the controls that I have awesome strip that it is secured to the wood pretty good. But yeah, it's a bit janky, but it's working. At some point I am going to have to change everything around, but for right now this was one of those projects with keeping a reef tank in a garage, and for the most part it has done pretty well. So now I think I'm going to end this video. I'm going to give you guys some top-down shots of everything, show you guys some of the corals around, and that'll pretty much be it. Sorry, it's just a really long video. It's been a lot to go over with everything, and I hope you guys enjoy, and peace. I will talk to y'all later.